Hey y'all, and welcome back to the seasonal storm. And today we are getting ready to dye some Easter eggs using our InstantPot, some normal eggs, and an ice bath. Stay tuned. In addition to today's InstantPot tutorial, I'll also be showing you a super simple but creative egg salad recipe, as well as sharing some fun insights on the history of Easter eggs. Thanks for stopping by again. So the first step in perfect InstantPot boiled eggs, hard-boiled eggs I should say, is having our eggs at room temperature. So I have an 18-pack here that are already warm. And then I'm going to fill this large container that I got for $3, so 3, it was on clearance at Walmart, of course. And because I do not have an ice maker to make an ice water bath, I'm gonna fill this with cold water and throw it in my freezer. So those are the first two things we're gonna do to get ready. Okay, so our water bath is in the freezer and we have our InstantPot open and we have our room temperature eggs. The first thing you need to do is take the trivet that comes with your InstantPot and put it on the bottom. We do not want to put the eggs directly against the metal surface at the bottom of the InstantPot. This is a 10-quart InstantPot Duonova, so the measurements go as follows. For a 6-quart InstantPot, you need to use 1 cup of water. For an 8-quart InstantPot, you need to use 1.5 cups of water, and for a 10-quart, we're gonna use 2 cups of water. So we're gonna go ahead and add that now. It's important to note that the water that we want to use for this step needs to be cold water and not warm water because it will change the cook time. So we've added our 2 cups of cold water. Now we are going to take our eggs. I do recommend, just because sanitary, I do recommend washing your eggs. Now, especially if you home grow your eggs or anything like that. And we're going to lay our eggs on top of our metal rack in the bottom of our InstantPot. Now we're gonna use the 5-5-5 method. So we're going to pressure cook on high for 5 minutes. We're going to let it natural release or rest for 5 minutes. And then when we take them out, we're going to dunk them into our ice bath, or cold water bath, I should say, for another 5 minutes. So, and you can stack as many as will fit, and I'm going to do 18 total inside of this rack. All right, our eggs are in. So as you can see, our eggs are stacked, our water is in, and we're gonna go ahead and close the lid and get ready to turn it on. Okay, our lid is locked. We are going to go to pressure cook, and we definitely do not need an hour. Clearly, I'm used to slow cooking in this. We're gonna take it down to just 5 minutes. Nope, not 35. 5 minutes of high pressure. Oh, not 3. And hopefully it starts. So now that our pressure cooking is done, we're going to allow it to natural release for 5 minutes, and then we're going to take the eggs out and soak them in a cold bath. Okay, so we've let our eggs rest for another 5 minutes, so we're gonna go ahead and release our steam, and we're gonna get our ice bath out of the fridge. And we're gonna take our eggs immediately out of our InstantPot and put them into our ice bath, which is stuck, of course. Okay, there we go. Steam's ready to kick up. Ooh. All right. And I'm just gonna use a pair of tongs and fish our eggs out. It looks like we do have a few maybe that have cracked, but they didn't crack all the way through. When you go to dye them, the color will actually seep through and kind of give you tie-dyed Easter eggs when you peel them, so that can be really fun. Like I said, this is a very large InstantPot and we did a really large batch. So we're gonna go ahead and load all of these into our ice bath, and then we will come back in a little bit to see how they turned out. This is the die we're going to be using today, and it came with a 50 cent off a carton of eggs coupon as well for my local Kroger, so definitely see if your stores are offering a similar solution. This die requires 1 part acid, either vinegar or lemon juice, mixed with water. So the decorating of Easter eggs, where did it come from? Well, not surprisingly, the first people to decorate Easter eggs were not people going by their local grocery stores. In fact, it is believed that almost 60,000 years ago, people were decorating and engraving ostrich egg shells in Africa. So why do we use this tradition in the Christian sense? Like many Christian holiday traditions, we've borrowed this one from our pagan predecessors. For them, eggs symbolized fertility and rebirth, just like how we use eggs to symbolize the resurrection from the tomb and the rebirth of Christ. Decorating these eggs started with the ceremonious colors of Easter and spring seasons. Orthodox often colored their eggs with reds, while other groups often colored their eggs with blues. The custom of coloring eggs itself is directly borrowed from Judaism. A white egg is part of the Passover Seder plate. So technically, this appropriation of their tradition has come to ours, as the early Christians of Mesopotamia took the egg symbolism from Judaism and stained them instead with red in memory of the blood of Christ, shed at his crucifixion. The Christian churches officially adopted the custom, regarding the eggs as a symbol of the resurrection of Jesus. However, it took a long time going through Persia into the Greek Christian churches of Mesopotamia, from there to Russia and Siberia through the medium Orthodox Christianity, until finally it intersected again with Roman Christianity and Catholicism, and then later Protestants, who added additional colors other than just red and white. The color green is traditionally the color for both post-Epiphany, but also for the standard time of Pentecost for most of the liturgical calendar. So green was naturally one of the first colors added. In addition, gold or yellow was added, as it is traditionally considered the color of Easter. Dyeing an egg black may be challenging, so purple is often used to represent Ash Wednesday, Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, and Holy Saturday. Furthermore, blue can also be intercessed in the same way. Today we color our eggs all the colors of the rainbow, because why not? But once upon a time they had deep and significant meaning. But with this deep and significant meaning, recognizing our own church and faith, it's important to recognize that these traditions were borrowed, or in some cases fully appropriated, from other cultures, and it's important to acknowledge their impact on the history of our own faith and appreciate them as well. I cannot imagine what it would have been like painstakingly etching an ostrich egg, hand smashing the dyes of berries and leaves and other plants for other cultures and their egg dyeing processes, or even why these eggs were colored in the past, as those things have been lost to history. Unfortunately, some of these historical documents and records from the great past were lost because of the spread of our own church. It's important to acknowledge these factions of history as well while celebrating our own traditions. Easter eggs are used differently by different Christian churches throughout the world. In the Roman Catholic Church of Poland, the Święconka is the blessing of decorative baskets with a sampling of Easter eggs and other symbolic foods. In Greece, women traditionally dye the eggs with onion skins and vinegar on a Thursday, which is the day of communion, and the ceremonial eggs are known as kokina agva. They bake sareki for Easter Sunday's feast. In Egypt, it's a tradition to decorate boiled eggs during the Sham el-Nassim holiday, which falls every year just after the Eastern Christian Easter. In Spain, the eggs are used to make the Spanish dish hornanzo, which is traditionally eaten on or around Easter, and contains hard-boiled eggs as its primary ingredient. And in Hungary, the eggs are used sliced in a potato casserole during the Easter period. So there you have it, a quick history on the use of hard-boiled Easter eggs in the Christian world and the world where they were borrowed from before. Now let's get started on this super quick and super simple egg salad tutorial. So first off, I just showed you how easy it is to peel these eggs after they've been boiled in the InstantPot. Super quick, super simple. We're gonna chop a small onion, and we're gonna go ahead and set that aside into my handy dandy $5 Walmart chopper. I know, thrilling, and yes, I cannot get that label off. I've tried everything, including Goo Gone. Now, to get these eggs to peel, I crack them and then I roll them and apply pressure. And as you're gonna see, you can kind of twist the peel right off. The shell, I should say. What is this, a banana? And there you go, almost a perfect peel every time. Now, I'm not gonna make us watch as I peel all of the eggs that we're going to use today, but you get the idea. So, one more time. We're gonna crack, roll, twist, and the shell comes off. That one cracked a little in the middle, but that's okay because we are going to chop it off. And if you have a hard time getting the little shell bits off, just get your fingers a little wet with some water and they should slide right off. You can also rinse a hard-boiled egg. And as you can see, the coloring the coloring goes almost always through the eggshell. So you might have a little bit of some discoloration, but that's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get our onions chopped. Now, in hindsight, I probably should have thrown my eggs in at the exact same time, as it would have been much easier to have just chop them together and intermix them rather than try to rotate the eggs. And as you can see, I had a hard time peeling one of them. Not everything is as perfect as you see on social media. So we're gonna go ahead, and you probably don't have to chop these eggs in half, quite honestly. I tried to chop this one in a quarter before realizing that was probably unnecessary, but that's okay. Learn from my mistakes, right? And you also, in this chopper works great for a manual chopper. Or food processor, I should say. I don't know why I keep calling it a chopper. But this one was $5 at Walmart, and they wash great, they work great, and that canister is pretty large, so I probably could have fit all of the eggs in there with the onion at once and just incorporated it all at the same time, along with my seasonings, but hindsight is 2020. I feel like we need to come up with a new phrase for 2021, but that's okay. This recipe is also great for if you're getting ready to make some deviled eggs. You could probably chop these a little bit finer if you wanted to. But overall, I always find egg salad to be a really refreshing, high protein snack that you can almost always get kids to eat. If you have a hard time getting your child to eat this though, I recommend with my recipe, switch out the Dijon mustard for plain mustard and maybe go a little bit more easy on the seasoning. But in this house, everyone seems to love well-seasoned foods, so that's what we'll do. I'm using an olive oil based mayonnaise. You can use whichever mayonnaise you prefer. And it's honestly not as much mayonnaise as it looks like. I like to have a lighter, fluffier texture and not so soggy or runny because nobody wants a soggy egg salad. And just lightly incorporate, mix, mix, mix. And next up, we're going to get ready to add some of this Grey Poupon's Country Dijon. Now, I grew up with Dijon mustard. I understand not everybody has, but it is an excellent choice. It's already seasoned, so you probably don't need to add any additional seasoning. But we like a little spice and a little heat around here, so I always add some additional seasoning as well. You can kind of see the grainy texture of it. That's the like the seasoning components in it that are showing through. I'm gonna add a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning. We add this to everything. And a little bit of garlic powder because why not? And we're going to mix, 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 mix. And we should be good with that. Next up, onto some toasted wheat bread. I'm going to take some of this Avo Verde by Holy Guacamole. Now that we're approaching summer months and avocados are back in stock in my local grocery stores, I will be posting my own Avo Verde salsa recipe shortly. I'm going to add a little bit of red chili flakes for a little bit of heat. If you're making this for kids, maybe leave that out. And we're going to add our egg salad to the other side. This is kind of a version of the avocado toast we all love to order at brunch pre-2020. And yes, I am being a little messy because, well, this is my house and this is my lunch. So that's why. There we go. And we're going to cut it in half. Serve it with some carrots and you have a perfect Easter lunch snack. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video on how to make super simple 5-5-5 method hard-boiled eggs in the InstantPot, and I hope you have a blessed Easter season and enjoy coloring eggs with your family, and maybe if you learned something in today's video, passing those facts and history along to someone else. If you're interested in more content like this, go ahead and subscribe as we're going to post some more content for spring and summer soon.